Good evening and welcome to The Explainer. Tonight we're looking at a massive, breaking diplomatic breakthrough, one that literally has the whole world watching right now. The United States and Iran have just reached a ceasefire agreement. This is a monumental shift. We're talking about the most significant effort in years to dial back the intense tensions between Washington and Tehran. So tonight, we're going to unpack exactly what this framework means for the region, for international markets, and for global security overall. And we'll be doing that by looking at the raw data and the direct reports coming straight from the negotiation table.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got 5 key things on the agenda tonight. First, the 60-day diplomatic breakthrough itself. Second, reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Third, the economic relief and its strict conditions. Fourth, the big unresolved issue, the nuclear question. And finally, the path ahead to Switzerland.
All right, part 1, a 60-day diplomatic breakthrough. 4 months. Just let that number sink in for a second. For a solid 4 months, this escalating conflict has pushed the entire Middle East to the absolute brink of a wider regional war. It's been a period defined by daily, incredibly high-stakes military posturing, drone and missile exchanges, and just deep anxiety rippling across global markets. And that brings us to the core mechanism of today's news, a 60-day ceasefire. Under the terms of this deal, both the U.S. and Iran are expected to literally halt military operations immediately and basically refrain from any actions that could escalate tensions further. Now, to be clear, this temporary truce isn't a permanent peace treaty, not yet anyway. It's explicitly designed to create a 60-day window of breathing room. It gives international mediators the critical space they need to step in and try to hammer out a more permanent settlement without the immediate threat of crossfire hanging over their heads. Analysts are already saying that these next 2 months are absolutely going to be the make-or-break period for long-term regional stability. Moving on to part 2, reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
Experts are making it incredibly clear right now. A secure and open Strait of Hormuz is essential for energy supplies and global trade. And here is exactly why you, me, and the rest of the world are watching this so closely. This single maritime corridor handles roughly a fifth of the world's daily oil consumption. A fifth! During those 4 months of conflict, disruptions sent absolute shockwaves through international markets. We saw spiking insurance premiums and serious alarms going off about global energy supplies. But now, with shipping lanes expected to gradually reopen, normalized trade flows could soon ease that pressure on global fuel prices. And that directly impacts everything from international shipping costs right down to what you're paying at the pump.
Which leads us to part 3, economic relief and key conditions.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the specific sequence built into these 6 pillars. First up, the 60-day military halt. Second, restoring commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz. Third, a commitment to future nuclear negotiations. But I want you to look really closely at points 4 and 5, phased sanctions relief, and the possible release of certain frozen Iranian assets. American officials have firmly stressed that these economic concessions, they are not guaranteed up front, not at all. They're entirely tied to strict Iranian compliance with future agreements and a highly rigorous verification process, which is point 6 right there. So it's a very structured, step-by-step framework where economic relief is directly, tangibly linked to demonstrable cooperation.
All right, part 4, unresolved, the nuclear question.
It's the elephant in the room, right? It's the question every single international observer is asking today. What happens to Iran's nuclear program? And the reality, at least according to the current reports we have, is that this ceasefire agreement imposes absolutely no immediate nuclear restrictions. Zero. Instead, it really just establishes a framework to have those discussions down the line. So those incredibly difficult topics like uranium enrichment levels, international inspections, long-term monitoring mechanisms, they're all being pushed to upcoming negotiation rounds. And experts pretty universally agree these future discussions are absolutely guaranteed to be the single most challenging hurdle in this entire peace process.
So the crucial point here is balancing the immediate realities we're seeing against the long-term unknowns. On one side of the coin, supporters are hailing this as a massive diplomatic success. Achieving a much-needed temporary truce and restoring vital commercial shipping is huge. But on the flip side, critics are raising some very valid unresolved concerns. They point to the dangerous uncertainty surrounding Iran's enriched uranium stockpiles, the timeline for when sanctions might actually be removed, and of course, the future role of regional armed groups aligned with Iran. So as of right now, long-term security arrangements in the Persian Gulf remain completely unaddressed in this initial document.
And finally, part 5, the path to Switzerland. Let's map out exactly how this timeline builds from here. In the immediate days ahead, the world's attention is going to turn to a formal signing ceremony over in Switzerland. This is where the international community will be watching closely for a formal public commitment from both sides. From there, the next 60 days serve as a rigorous test of the immediate ceasefire and the verification process on the ground. Basically, will both sides actually honor their commitments? If they do, then the timeline pushes beyond that 60-day mark into comprehensive, high-stakes settlement talks, which aim to address the underlying root causes of the conflict, including that massive nuclear issue.
Which leaves us with this final vital question as we wrap up tonight's explainer. Will this 60-day window actually evolve into lasting peace? For now, this agreement represents the most significant easing of tensions we've seen in years, offering a rare and, frankly, very fragile opportunity for diplomacy to replace confrontation. But as the data and the framework show us, the hard work of truly securing the region's future, it's literally just beginning. We'll definitely continue to monitor this developing story as further details emerge from Switzerland. Thank you so much for joining me to break this all down. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.